Welcome, everyone. This is Stephen Carter, and I am the host, the organizer for the meetup group, the Baltimore and Columbia Energy Healers Meetup, and that is who is sponsoring this program. We invite you to join us. We do have meetings live and in person in the Ellicott City, Howard County area, but as you can tell, we also have meetings online. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we would welcome you if you would like to join the group. We have something like 1,700, 1,800 participants. I forget the last count. And it's a warm, loving group of people. We'd love to have you join us. That's meetup.com/healers. So in this presentation, we are going to learn about financial wellness. We are going to learn about abundance. We are going to learn how to create heart-centered financial abundance with wealth coach Bridget McGee. I will turn the world over to Bridget here in a moment, but just a couple of things about Bridget. Bridget, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase her written bio because I don't want to miss anything that's important about her. Bridget has spent years and tears working to build wealth and prosperity, and she, like so many of us, experienced the boom and bust, the results that are so common. After years of studying energy work, law of attraction, a lot of woo-woo stuff, she knew there had to be a better way, and she committed herself to finding that better way, and indeed she did. She doubled her personal income, significantly increased her savings. Her earnings continued to grow exponentially. She eliminated more than $20,000 in revolving debt. She's applied the wealth and prosperity method to truly supercharge her family, her health, her happiness, and most important, her emotional well-being. Bridget has earned certifications in an array of programs, including the Tapping into Wealth Coach program with Margaret Lynch, which is a well-recognized international program. She studied the law of attraction with Joe Vitale. She is an EFT master practitioner, positive EFT facilitator, and a whole bunch of other things. She's got certifications in a variety of EFT and energy methods. She's a licensed mortgage originator, a life and success coach, and teaches continuing education and personal development to real estate agents and other groups throughout Maryland. So with that, I am going to go on mute, and I am going to turn this presentation over to Bridget. And if you have questions, put them in the chat, and Bridget will stop periodically or at the end. I'm not sure how she's going to handle that, but she knows. And
we're just going to make it up as we go
along. Make it up, yeah. So she'll be more than happy to take your questions and share the information with you. So with that, Bridget, off and run.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. So I am so excited to be here tonight, and I am so grateful for Steve and the meetup that he has. That was one of the things that has really helped me to continue to move forward in all the things that I have been doing over the last, probably 25 years that I've been studying this work. So as Steve said, I am a loan officer. I was fascinated by all of this woo-woo stuff, but never could figure out how these two lives of mine would combine. And what I realized is that a lot of my clients as a loan officer, a lot of the real estate agents that I work with, and certainly friends and family and, folks all around, everybody has issues with money. it is one of those things that we don't talk about. It is amazing to me how many clients that I talk to that their husbands and wives don't know what each other's income is. There's family members that don't they want to make sure that everything is very secretive and hush hush. Nobody, they don't want to provide income documentation that's required so that we can move forward with the loan. So, this is rampant in our society. And one of the things that I have done over a lot of years is I've invested a lot of money in programs, in webinars, in coaching, in lots of things. And what my goal is today is really hopefully to cut off some of that time that you would need to be able to help you to move forward, just by maybe just giving you a couple of great tips that are going to help you to really start to move forward in a better way, in a faster way, and in a way that's filled with more ease. So hopefully we can do that. And I do have some notes, so you'll see me looking down a little bit because I don't want to forget any of this great information. I also will be sharing, I have a PowerPoint. So what I'll probably do when I have the PowerPoint is I will turn my video off just because it's distracting to see yourself talk. But please stop me. Steve is certainly monitoring as we're going. So if hands are raised and I believe we've got it so that you can unmute yourself. We are trying to keep the noise level down so that it's really clear. And so my goal today is really just to give you that information and give you some really great ahas so that you can leave today transformed and really begin to supercharge your life. And I will, if you like what I'm talking about, there's some ways that I'll be able to share that we could potentially work together. And if it's just that you're going to take this information and keep going, that's okay too. So hopefully everybody's ready to get started, and I'm excited to be able to share with you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oops, not that way. Got to share it from here. All right, so as Steve said, the class is called Create Heart-Centered Financial Abundance. And we talked a little bit about the fact that I've been in the mortgage business for a long time, and I got certified under lots of different things, and we've already gone over what my mission is today. The first question that I want to ask you, actually, does everybody have a pen and paper? If you don't, if you could please grab something, because there are going to be a couple things I'd really like to have you keep those notes so that you can really remember and then continue to work on this stuff. So I'll give everybody just a minute to do that. So the question is are you a master manifester? We are always manifesting on the good side and the bad side. So it's all those things, whatever your situation is. I get very angry when I have heard about folks that have gotten cancer or had situations in their lives that and people say, well, it's because you don't think positively. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is there's things in our energy systems that require us to do things, to act in certain ways, and a lot of times we don't even realize that it's happening. So really, the things that in your life are an active manifestation of the thoughts and feelings, and some of those things that you don't even realize are affecting you. We were talking earlier that a lot of times people have issues in their family that are toxic, that people are not doing, that people are not being kind. And those things that our parents talked about, those fears, those are all things that can affect where we are in our money right now. And I'm really going to talk about money as opposed to abundance. Abundance tends to be way up here. It's woo-woo. When you put a dollar sign in front of numbers, all of a sudden things change. There are brilliant mathematicians who, if you give them a spreadsheet for their money, they don't know what to do with it, and all it is numbers. So what I'd like you to do is, if you could write down the first things that come to your mind when you think about people that have wealth. So whether it's rich people or celebrities or whatever it is, just the first thing that comes up. And if you could go ahead and put that in the chat, which I can't see quite now. Let me see. All right, so Steve, I'm going to ask you, I can't see the chat for some reason. So if there's folks that are putting some things in the chat, if you could just name off a couple of those things.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So,
okay.
So folks, just what's the first thing? Finish this sentence. Rich people are, okay. Cheryl says evil.
All right. Daphne?
That's not me, or?
Daphne, did you have something?
Disciplined.
I like it.
Okay. Sharon says, that's not me, or I've never had enough money to do that. Sharon says, rich people are blessed. Hey, yes, they are. I can recall one seminar, and Bridget, I don't remember if you were in this one or not. We had a really good group, but I asked this question to someone who really wanted consciously to earn more money and to really take her life to the next level financially. And I said, okay, finish this sentence. Rich people are. And she immediately said greedy.
Yeah.
And it hit her, and I said, well, do you want to be greedy? And she said, well, no, of course not. So these beliefs that we have really are ways that can block us to achieving wealth, to achieving abundance, whatever that means for you. And so with that, then I'm going to turn it back over.
Yep. So thank you, Steve. So yeah, these are pretty typical answers. And what I'd like you to do now is just kind of put those to the side. And we're going to talk a little bit now about what you would do with the money. So I want you to just really think about, if you had all the wealth in the world, what would you do with the money? And really, what I get the most is they want to buy their family a house. They want to support a charity that's important to them. These are people that are going to do great things with this money. And then they're not hiring a hitman. They are doing really, really good things. So if you've got people that are greedy and evil and not doing the right thing, and that's your thought about rich people, and if you were rich, all the good things that you would do, it's really hard to have those things work. They're always working against each other. So in order for us to create something different, we really have to think different thoughts. We have to feel a different way, and we have to do different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about things about how we're going to do that. And a friend of mine said, what we believe matters, because what we believe affects the way we live. And it's so true. And until we uncover those hidden beliefs, we're always going to keep living in a way that is not in keeping with the way that we truly want to be. So what do you believe? And these are the top answers that I've gotten in doing this class over and over and over again, in talking to private clients. So folks are greedy. They think they're better than me. They're extravagant or wasteful. There's gold toilets in the mansions. They're snobby. They're lazy. They're either lazy or they're workaholics. So, sometimes, it might be the opposite ends of the same coin. They are selfish, or they think they're too good for me. So, if these are your beliefs, then, we certainly want to see what we can do to cover it up. So we're going to do a really cool exercise that is going to help you to really understand the goal process. So I'm going to have you grab that piece of paper again. And what I want you to do is really just figure out what you need for your monthly expenses. We don't have to get super specific. We don't need $4.97 for the coffee that you're going to get tomorrow morning. But if you get coffee every morning, and that's something that you do, then you do want to add that as part of your income. So we're just going to start with a real basic, what money that you need to live on a monthly basis. And then I also want you to really also add enough so that then life is comfortable. So if you have a mortgage and you have credit card debt and car payment, and all the things that we all have to pay with gas and electric and all those things, what approximately what is that number? And then if you're going to add more money in, what is that? So, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to have you just really take a look at that number, and I want you to rate these sentences on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being it's 100% true that you can make this amount of money. So if you could go ahead and do that, or looking at the goal, and we're going to say it's impossible. So I can't do it. There's no, if it's 100% true that it's impossible for you to make enough money to live, then that's going to be a 10. If it's not true at all, that it's possible, then you're going to go ahead and rate that a 1. Then we're going to go to I can do it. I deserve it. And it will probably be really hard. And as you write these things down, I just want you to notice if there's anything going on in your body, if there's any changes that are happening. Sometimes there's a constriction. Sometimes you can feel it. People have told me that their shoulders or their arms and their back get really tense. And sometimes there's just a beautiful ease because it is just easy. What is it for you? All right, I'm not sure why I still can't see the chat. So Steve, I'm going to ask you to hop back in and see if there's anybody that if you guys want to raise your hand.
Well, let's go ahead and have them mention it in chat. If you go up and hit the blue command over in the upper left, it'll expand your screen out, but no worries. Okay, so Bill says ease. Well, I'm not going to give names here, although everybody can see it in the chat. So we have ease. One individual says impossible, so equals 1. So I'm assuming
that it's not impossible.
That it is possible.
Right.
That's possible for, in this case, for Sharon. Everyone else, if you would just put in the chat 1 or 2 of the it's impossible. Let's go for that one. If it's impossible, then it's a 10. If it's absolutely impossible, if it's possible, then it's a 1. And if it's somewhere in the middle, then it's somewhere between 1 and 10.
Yep.
So if you can share that in chat. So, okay, here we go. Thank you, everyone. Impossible, can do it is a 10. Deserve it is a 10. Hard is a 5. That's
Okay.
probably pretty realistic. Possible is a 10 for Bill. Sharon, can do it is a 7 to 8. It will be hard. Cheryl says 10, very hard. So we're kind of all over the board.
Okay, awesome.
With it.
And that's pretty typical. And whenever we do this in groups, it is, there's people that are all over the place. But if you have somebody that is at a 5 on any of these, that means that 50% of them believes that it is impossible. And so when you're at 50%, it's not a great place to be. So now I'm going to take you and help you to see something that is really cool. And I want you to see really how much these things, that these numbers can affect you on a day-to-day basis. So we're gonna start this, and hopefully you won't get too mad at me, but we'll work through it. So what I want you to do now is take that income goal that you had, and I want you to go ahead and double it and write that down. And then I want you to go through the same questions. It's impossible. Is it? I can do it. Can I? I deserve it. Or it'll probably be really hard. What did you notice? Did you notice changes in your body? Did you notice some constriction? Did those numbers increase from where you were or decrease? So if you had something that said it was possible, is it now impossible? Or did it stay the same? I'll give you a minute to do that. I want you to notice that all we did was write a number on a piece of paper. So we didn't even get up and walk out of the room. There's nobody even knows what the number is that's in front of you. But somehow I can almost bet that those numbers did change once we doubled it. So I'd like to find out if anybody noticed that, if you noticed any changes. And I'd like to kind of get some verbal feedback if we can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not sure if I can. So I believe everybody's got the ability to unmute themselves, but if you want to go ahead and raise your hand.
Let's do it that well. A lot of people can't see that. I'm going to just unmute everyone. And please keep any background sounds quiet. So we'll unmute, and we'll just go down here. Unmute. Okay. Unmute. And I think everybody, yes, unmute.
Our goal here is really to get to the feelings underneath. So it's not just about the number, it's what the feelings are underneath it. What came up when you doubled that number? Anybody like to hop in for me?
This is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. This is really cool. It's like that exercise where you stretch your arms or something around, I forget, or your body, and you can't do it the first time. But
yep.
The time, I forget the whole exercise, but you can do it way better than you ever thought you could. And so this is kind of exciting because my first numbers were okay, but not fabulous. And my can do it was 7 when it was half of this, and now it's 10.
Okay.
So I don't understand, but
okay.
But that's what I see is when the relationship to that other exercise.
So
And
when
how hard it is now moved up to a 6 or a 7, which is better. But I do see that I know some of what I need to do to get there. So I know that I have more actual work to do. And that's why I guess I don't make it a 10. I know it's, it's up and down as you're going through these processes.
Okay. So when you doubled it, your I can do it went from a 7 to a 10?
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. Okay. See how brilliant I am? I'm done. All right, who's next?
Don't be shy. Otherwise, I'll start calling on people.
He will too.
Yeah.
Stayed the same.
Stayed the same.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Anyone else? Can one more person share?
Yeah, so this is Cheryl. So for me, it went into extreme anxiety, like ready to vomit, like there's no way.
Yeah, and that's a pretty typical reaction, Cheryl. Thank you for sharing that. I asked, I was working with a client one time, and I asked her about her goal, and a number, and I said, it's impossible. And she's like, nope, absolutely possible. I can do it. Oh, absolutely. I can do it. I deserve it. Of course I deserve it. I'm a child of God. I deserve it. It's probably going to be really hard. Nope. I've done it before. I know how to do it. I said, okay, well, how come you're not making, so why do you think you're not making money? And she said, well, that's what I'm here for. I have no idea. And what my question to her is, were you ever in a position where you made that money? And she said, well, yeah, it was the greatest thing ever. My kids were in dressage lessons. My husband and I both just got new cars. Everything was amazing. It was the life of Riley. Everything was fantastic. And then the bottom fell out of the market and everything changed. The rug was pulled out from under me. And all of a sudden she stopped and she said, holy cow, I never want that feeling again. No wonder I'm not doing the things that I need to do, that I know that I'm perfectly capable of doing, is because I don't ever want to feel like that again. And for her, this was a woman who was in real estate, had no prospects. She had closed her last deal about a month and a half before, and she didn't know what she was going to do. In 2 weeks, she had 3 listings under contract. It completely changed, just that shift of saying, wow, I don't have to have the rug pulled out from under me. I can take this and Steve and I were talking earlier about, when you're in those boom cycles, putting money away so that if things happened again like that, then you're still going to be okay. It was amazing to see the difference and what happened with this. And it's really those limiting beliefs that a lot of times she didn't even realize. She said, it was just something that happened to her. She dealt with it. And as far as she was concerned, she was moving on. But until we went through this process, she didn't realize how important that was. So really, wishing doesn't make it so. I can go in front of a mirror and I can use my affirmations and positive thinking and all that good stuff. And I can say, I am 120 pounds. And my logical brain is going to say, no, you're not. So we have to be careful about what we say and how we say it. So, if you say, I want to make $1 million and you've got no money in your bank account, or your income goal is $40,000 a month, and right now you're making $1 million, there's a disconnect there. So really what we want to do is we want to be able to take steps. We've got to be able to clear out this thinking But we also need to be able to take those steps. And I'm not saying dumb down your goals. I'm not saying, don't want to make $40,000, but maybe we have something that is beyond, and that where we are right now, something that is well beyond what we think is possible, but maybe not something that is so ridiculous. I'm a $9 an hour warehouse employee. I'm going to start making $1 million a year. Probably, unless you have an amazing invention that you've already worked on, it's probably not going to happen that way. You never know. Stranger things have happened. People have manifested all kinds of crazy things, but it's really about, what does that $9 an hour employee have to do to take it to the next step? To, these kids that work in a fast food place that say, I'm going to own this one day. That doesn't mean they're going to own it in a week, but they can make steps. They can take action. And so what we really need to do is we really need to be able to be able to start taking action. We really need to be able to start clearing out those blocks. And one of the ways that we do that is we use tapping. How many people are familiar with tapping or emotional freedom techniques? So we've got some folks that are. So I'm just kind of go through the tapping points. This is just a silly picture I created today because I didn't want to use one of the copyrighted ones online. So, but I'm going to show you so the top of the head is the crown. That is, we're not trying to bang anything into us. We're just tapping gently. We're going to go to the inside of the eye, which is this part right here, right at the end of your eyebrow. We've got outside of the eye. We've got under the nose. I'm sorry, under the eye. I'm reading and not actually. Whoops. Under the eye is actually under the eye, not under the nose.
Bridget, do you want to bring your face back up?
I think if you scroll to the left, you should be able to see me.
Oh, well, not everybody is on video. Okay. All right. So we'll continue with the image. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So under the nose, the chin, which is right under your lip, right in that little scoop area. We've got the collarbone. Now, in most tapping, folks really get very specific about the sore point, and you have to go over to the end and down 2 inches. And I kind of am a little more old school and a little more easy, so I just kind of do more of a gorilla tap. So I just hit I know I'm going to hit the areas that I need to hit. We also have the side of the body point. That's not one that I typically do, and it's not one that I typically like to do on video because it's just not pretty. And then you also have the side of the hand, which is this fleshy part at the bottom on the outside of your hand, right below the pinky. So that's the karate chop point or the side of hand point. So what we do with emotional freedom technique is we are able to, there's energy systems that run through our bodies. And in those energy systems are these trapped emotions. A lot of times there are family paradigms that get stuck, or there are traumas even that get stuck in our energy systems. And so with the tapping, this is a scientifically proven method. There's lots of science out there. If you Google science and tapping, you will get a ton of information. And what we're doing really is calming down our fight or flight. So what I want you to do is really just start on that. Take a look at your doubled income goal. And we're just going to start with some tapping. Now, one of the things that sometimes people who are not familiar with tapping get concerned about is we're going to start with the really negative stuff. And people are afraid, okay, am I going to tap the negative stuff into my body and then I'm going to be even more stuck? I will tell you that what we found over the years, and there's been, again, a lot of scientific studies, is by allowing those voices to come up, those things that we don't even realize are affecting us, and giving them a voice, it allows that fight or flight to calm down. and then we can then go ahead and take action. So if you're not familiar, I will try to remember to, as I move from point to point, I will try to remember to tap and say the name of the point. If I forget, please just go ahead and just for each phrase, repeat after me, and then go ahead and we'll move to the next point. So you can start wherever you like. I usually start at the top of my head. And we're just going to go ahead and do some tapping on just some of the feelings that were coming up, and just whatever happens. I'm not going to start with the, sorry, I'm going to stop for a second. I am not going to start with the karate chop or the side of the hand to use the setup statements. We're just going to get right into the tapping. I think because of the work that we just did, we've probably got some emotions already going. And I'd really just go ahead and tap along, say it out loud. If anything that I say does not ring true, go ahead and just substitute your own words. Nobody's going to be able to hear you. Everybody's muted. But just go ahead and substitute your own words about whatever's coming up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, this number. I can't even believe that I would write that number down. I could never make that much money. It's impossible. If it was, look, I said I was going to tell you where to tap and I didn't. I'm sorry. So I'm under the nose. If I could make that much money, I already would have. Chin. I don't want to be like those greedy rich people. Collarbone. All these rich people, they're greedy and evil. They're unkind. I don't want to be like them. This number, it's really impossible. Top of the head. I can't even imagine making that much money. Or maybe I made that much money before, but I'll never make it again. Too many things have happened. What could I do that would bring that much value? Yeah, she does sales. Of course she can increase her income. I'm an hourly employee. I'm retired. I'm on a fixed income. There's nothing I can do. It's impossible. I don't like this feeling. Inside the eye. I don't like this feeling at all. Outside of the eye. When I looked at that number, I got so tense. Under the eye. I could feel the nausea rising in my throat. Under the nose. I don't like this feeling at all. Chin. That number is just impossible. And collarbone. It's just too big. It's unachievable. Take a nice deep breath. And what did you notice? If you look back at that number, did those numbers change? Does it feel a little bit more possible? Or did it maybe get worse? Anybody have something they'd like to type into the chat? And if it feels like a lot, just while the rest of it, everybody's chiming in, you can go ahead and just tap on your collarbone point. Continue to take a deep breath.
Okay, let me kind of go through the chat here, Bridget, since you are having challenges seeing it. The anxiety got worse. Yes. Can do it now 10 and hard up to 6 to 7. Impossible 2, can do it 8 to 9, deserve it 9, hard 7. Mostly says yes. Oh, wait a minute. Numbers got bigger. A lot of sadness and helplessness. I didn't like the sorry comments you were making.
Okay.
Helplessness. I was feeling much more positive than anything that was said, so it didn't match for me.
Okay.
And one says stress increased.
Okay.
And so just FYI, that is not an uncommon experience, because you're surfacing things that have been hidden or weighted down for a long, long time. It's kind of like it's freeing them. So,
Right. Thank you, Steve.
mhm.
So what we're going to do, we're going to do another round of tapping. I'm going to try to incorporate some of the things that you guys said. And we're just going to go ahead and do that round, and then we will follow it with a positive round. If you're not quite there, there's a lot of stress happening in your body, I would encourage you to come back to the video. There's lots of great videos on YouTube as well, that you can come back and really start to work through some of those emotions. Make sure that you're making note of what changes, what feelings were coming up for you, and you can tap. There's some really easy ways that you can tap as well, and we can I'll go through a couple of those once we're finished this round. So if everybody can just take a nice deep breath in, and we're going to start at the top. I'm not sure about this. I don't like that negative talk. I don't like the way this is making me feel. I was much better off before we started this. This doesn't work. How is this going to help me improve my money situation? This doesn't even make any sense. None of this is ringing true for me. Top of the head. This number, for me, it felt more impossible. Well, for me, it felt less impossible. I've seen changes in just these couple of exercises. Some of them I've liked, and some of them I didn't. It's really going to be hard to make this money. But what if it isn't? What if I am able to have things happen that I never even imagined? What if I'm able to get that promotion that I've been trying for? What if there's things that are already in the works that I don't know about? Maybe then it wouldn't all be impossible. I do deserve it. The God that I believe in wants only good things for me. And there's been a lot of really crappy things that have happened. And maybe this can help. It may not happen right this minute. It may not happen right this week. But I've changed from when I sat down at this computer. There are so many good things that are coming for me. All the things that I thought were impossible now feel a little bit more possible. I do deserve good things. I'm a good person. I'm not like those bad, greedy, rich people. There's a lot of really good rich people out there. They are so blessed. They're disciplined. They are so helpful and kind. That's the kind of rich person I would be. I would do nice things for people. I would fix up my house. I would be able to do all the things that I want to do. I'm open to the possibility. I'm open to the possibility of things being easy. I'm open to the possibility of change for the better. It doesn't feel quite as impossible now. I don't understand it, but I don't feel as tense. I don't feel as nauseous. I'm breathing a little bit easier. Money's coming my way, and I'm open to the miracles. Taking a nice deep breath in. And what did you notice? Did anything change? Did any of those numbers change for the better?
Okay, more relaxed. Yes, I can reduce the anxiety. Energy rose up. More optimistic. Yes, better.
Awesome.
Yeah, anyone else would like to share?
We'd like to, some verbal feedback if anybody would like to raise your hand and just share what changed for you.
So this is Cheryl. So for me, I don't feel as helpless. I feel like it's possible. It's a huge number. So, like I try to figure it out hourly and I'm like, it's like working 700 hours a month, but there's other ways to earn money. So that it just seems possible because, I have stuff in the pipeline, but it's just taking action to creating it. Like it could actually work. I could actually make money.
Absolutely. And as Cheryl, I know you're an entrepreneur, so being able to even collect the money that's owed to you, allowing that feeling to come in, to be able to, so that your clients pay you in a timely manner.
Yeah. So I've had a huge breakthrough in that I'm actually getting the money that's owed to me. So it's good.
Awesome. Okay. Sharon, did you have something?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, initially I was the first round of tapping, obviously, I said it bothered me because I wasn't in that space really. But as we progressed, it got better and I was able to also change some of the words in my head but you suggested that.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I think it did. I just feel more open and more ready to start doing the things that I need to do. That's been my block.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else like to share? Okay. Did you see anybody, Steve?
No.
Okay.
I'm not seeing the hands raised for some reason, but if anyone would like to share, unmute yourself now. And hearing going once, going twice, and we're back on mute.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So tapping is a really amazing tool, and there's lots of different techniques that different folks have created that have, there's certainly the original created by Roger Callahan and Gary Craig. And then there's, if you are really dealing with a lot of stress and tension around money, I would really encourage you to do, I'm going to Some people call it a tap and rant. Some people call it bitch and tap. Some people call it FU tapping. And it just allows you to really move that negative energy. And you don't have to go through all of the points. I found it to be just as effective if you've got something going on that sometimes you just want to just tap on your collarbone, or maybe you're not in a place where it is it's convenient to tap. Maybe you're with your family, or doing that strong energy movement where you don't want that anger coming out and really scaring the kids and the pets. So what I'd really encourage you to do is, if you're going to do that type of tapping, it is beautiful, beautiful work. You can certainly get support in doing that. Some people take tea towels and hit it against a pillow, or they'll punch like a kickboxing stand. I don't know what they're called. Those thingies that you punch. Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, so there's lots of different ways that you can do that, but that allows you really to move that energy. Get all the negative things out, those things that you may be surprised at the things that come up. There may be things that come up from your childhood, from something a teacher said that just comes out, and you don't even understand it. But that's the beauty of this work. It allows you to continue to really move that. And then once you've gone down from that 10, if that really negative 10, you can get to that, start on those positive rounds and really increase that energy, just like Sharon and Cheryl were both talking about. So I'm just going to continue on. So one of the other things, I know we're running short on time, but one of the other things that has been really life-changing is catching yourself in the moment. It is amazing how many times, and I'm going to really charge you to notice it as you say things, and as people in your family or people that are around you say that. Somebody drops something and they say, gosh, I'm such an idiot. Or they'll say, this business is killing me. Or they'll say, I'm so in debt. And so some of those things could be true, but a lot of those things, they don't, if we continue to say that, that's the things that we're going to continue to tell our nervous system that these are the things, this is what we want, because we're saying, I am, you're claiming that. So I want to really encourage you to claim what you want, and encourage other people to claim what they want. So the distance between who I am and who I want to be is separated only by my actions and my words. So there was a slide earlier that said, wishing doesn't make it so. We're not going to go through and tap and move energy and money's going to fall from the sky. Okay, maybe it could, but it's unlikely. So we have to actually start to take action. We need to do the things that are allowing us to move forward on the scale, so that as we are working on clearing out all of those negative blocks, we're going to start also bringing in the good stuff. And I will tell you that if you can do this even 5 minutes a day, this kind of work can truly be life-changing. So, what's getting in your way? There's all these parts, all these things are trying to keep you safe. So when a child touches a stove, they know that their body says, oh, I shouldn't touch that because it's hot and it's going to hurt. So as adults, we typically don't touch the stove if there's fire on it. But there's also all these other parts, and sometimes you might notice that you might have a procrastination Patty, or a need more knowledge Nelly. These are my names. You certainly will have to figure out who the names are that are for you. Who is trying to keep you safe by not allowing you to move forward. They truly believe, these parts of us truly believe that they are doing good for us, but they don't understand that we are no longer 5 or 20 or 30 or whatever it is when those negative things were happening to us. And all they know is, this is something bad that's happening and I don't want it to happen again. So we want to kind of really have that dialogue, and it sounds very woo-woo. It sounds a little bit crazy, But I will tell you that if you sit down and you really take a look at when you're stuck, just ask, who are you? What's in the way? Gratitude is also one of my favorite ways to continue this work, and really just noticing when things are good that happen. We, a lot of times, as if we're entrepreneurs or if we're just employees, not just employees, but if we're employees, we tend to just keep going to the next thing. We forget to celebrate. We forget to be grateful for what we truly do have in our lives. Because even though things can be really horrible, there's always going to be something good. And I would encourage you to keep those notes, so that on those days where you really can't find anything, that you can go back and you can look at those notes and go, I remember now. So things actually can be good. So these are some of the things that clients have said as we've done our work together. I had a gentleman say, thank you for giving me my vision back. Another one said, I'm at the bank right now taking control of my finances. I can't thank you enough. Somebody else said, I've never experienced anything like that before. And finally, somebody said, you've helped me to fall in love with my business all over again. There are a lot of people out there who need me. So what's holding you back? If you'd like to schedule a clarity session, I am offering, the mortgage business, as you may know, is extremely hot right now. The interest rates have dropped significantly, and lots of people are still in the buying mode. So I've been really busy. I can only open up 5 sessions. So if you'd like to get one of those 5 sessions, anybody else, I can certainly put on a waiting list. But if you could go ahead and email me at BJM, that's Bridget J. McGee Coaching, bjmcoaching@gmail.com. You can also go to my website at Bridget McGee bridgetmcgee.com or bridgetjmcgee.com. Both of them will lead you to my website and get just a little bit more information. And I'd really just like to finish up by saying, tell me if how you feel about what we did today. We're not going to be able to change everything in an hour, but hopefully you got some clarity on some of the things that are holding you back, and hopefully can move forward. If anybody'd like to share, we'd love to hear it.
Okay, I'm going to unmute everyone. So again, please be quiet. But if you would like to share, we'd love to hear your thoughts and any questions as well. So here we go. Everyone is now unmuted, with a couple of exceptions. I'm not sure why, but I guess they have muted themselves. So here we go. Is there anyone who would like to share or have a question?
I'll share something.
Okay.
So,
and who is this?
Cheryl.
Okay.
So I've known Bridget for a couple of years, and we're good friends, I would have to say, but she's helped me so much. Actually, the first time we met, she helped me get through some pretty tough stuff in the past, and she's, and I think that's what really created our bond, because I was authentic and she was responsive and there was no judgment, and she's just really, really great to work with. So I love working with Bridget, and
thank you.
I suggest everybody else do it, but I'm actually going to consider starting your program in July, Bridge. Okay. To at another level. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's one more time, Bridget, please share your contact information and then unshare your screen so we're looking at.
Okay, gotcha. Let me stop that. So I'm back.
Okay,
hopefully.
And again, your contact information one more time.
So you can reach me at bridgetmcgee.com or bridgetjmcgee.com, or you can also email me at bjmcoaching, that's Bridget Jane McGee, so bjmcoaching@gmail.com.
Okay. Bill, you have a one-word thing, target. Would you like to elaborate on that? Is it a question or?
Well, she was talking about the punching bag that it's called a target.
Oh,
Okay.
that makes sense. It's a punching bag.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. I've tapped with Bridget if she's amazing. All right. One more opportunity. Go ahead.
Bridget, I was going to say, and Steve too, I don't want to leave you out. I was just going to say, I'm really grateful for this opportunity because it's like the starting point again to look at these things and to move forward, because I know they're keeping me stuck, and I'm at a place where I know I really need to make some big changes. So I thank you for both of you for doing this tonight.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Carol. Now, Bridget mentioned there's a ton of resources available on the web, on YouTube for EFT. Some of it's very good, some of it not so much. If you go on my website, which is EFT-MD.com, EFT-MD.com, and select the video tab, there are an array of different videos on there to include demonstrations of basic tapping. So that is one place that you can go as a resource to learn tapping, the basics of it. And I encourage you to reach out to Bridget. I've had the pleasure of having Bridget in my EFT Master Practitioner class and some others. And I've taught hundreds and hundreds of people over the years, EFT and other methods. And I have to say, Bridget is one of a handful of people who this is just natural for her. It just is her. It comes through her. It's a God-given grace that she has with this work. So I would encourage you to reach out to her, talk to her, and avail yourself of the opportunity to work with her, because she is really an amazing practitioner. So one last time, any questions anyone would like to ask or share any comments? Going once, going twice. Bridget, an amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you guys all for being here. It was such a pleasure, and please take advantage of these 30-minute clarity calls. They really can help a lot. I will also, in those calls, can also give you some other resources. So if you are struggling with money, there's some great books that you can get from the library, or certainly some great places I can send you on the web that will give you some good information. We're going to be doing some tapping meetups, I believe, coming up. And then I also am going to be doing, I have opportunities for some individual coaching, but I also am working on having a group coaching program that should be coming in June. That will probably be like a 4 to 6 week program, just once a week for an hour. And we'll go deeper into this work. And I can't wait to see what happens for folks.
Thank you. An amazing job. Thanks to everyone who participated. If you have questions, reach out to Bridget post presentation here. You have her email address. And thanks again. And thanks to everyone for participating. Until next time, this is your host, Stephen Carter, wishing you blessings, grace, and much wealth. Take care.
Thank you.